Your mission, Jim, should you decide to accept it, is to prevent the murder and discover the identity of Scorpio. This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scott Reviews Things in 4.5 minutes. And what am I looking at this time? I'm looking at Season 5 of Mission Impossible, the 5th season. Now, a little background. Stephen Hill was in the first season of Mission Impossible. Then he was replaced by Peter Graves, who was now the leader of the gang in Mission Impossible to the end of the series. And then after Season 3, Martin Landau and Barbara Bain, they left the show. And in Season 4, they replaced Martin Landau with Leonard Nimoy. And they didn't replace Barbara Bain. They just had a rotating guest star of female actresses to fill the role. And so in Season 4, we get Leonard Nimoy, and he carries over to Season 5. And I really like Leonard Nimoy's performance, especially in Season 4, but he hits a stride in Season 5. Because up until then, he went right from Star Trek to Mission Impossible. And in Star Trek, he was playing Mr. Spock, so, no emotion, everything was logical. Here he got to cut loose. Here he got to have an emotional range in his acting. He got to do accents. He got to do characters. And I could really say that he was enjoying himself. This was really, really different from Star Trek, and I believe that's what he wanted, and he did a great job. And the rest of the cast does a great job, except for one person, and I'll get to that in a second. Now, Season 5, in my opinion, is, even though that Leonard Nimoy has hit his stride, the show is on its way down. This is where it jumped the shark, in my opinion. Because now it's... In the first 4 seasons, there was a lot of international intrigue. You were overseas. You were a spy in another country. It was, what happens if you get caught in another country? You could get shot. You could get killed. In Season 5, it's a lot more, and Season 5 on, in 6 and 7, it's a lot more domestic. They're dealing with stuff that's happening in America. They were dealing with corrupt politicians. They were dealing with the mob. They were dealing with drugs. So it took the show from an international flavor and made it like a lot of the cop shows that were on at the time, just dealing with problems that were happening here in America instead of overseas. Now, as I said, they were dealing with drugs. So they tried to bring youth to the show. So they brought in Sam Elliott. And they brought in Sam Elliott to replace Peter Lupus. And after about 5 or 6 episodes, the show received so much fan mail that they wanted Peter Lupus, that Sam Elliott pretty much just went away after that. They tried him out. They tried to fix something that wasn't broken. And that's a lot of the show's downfall. It was, everybody loved Peter Lupus. Everything was fine with Peter Lupus. You try to fix something that's not broken and you're good. So I think that's what started people against the show right there. And then they brought in a recurring female character played by Leslie Ann Warren. And she was credited as Leslie Warren in the show. And I like Leslie Ann Warren. She's a great actress, but she is just so bad in this. She is so bad. She only has 2 modes. She's either playing the hippie chick. It's like, what's Daddy-O? And granted, it was the 70s when this was, so some of the dialogue doesn't do her any favors, but she's either acting like this young hippie or she's overacting. Over the top acting that would make William Shatner blush. And she is just so bad. And and that is the crux. You don't believe her as a character. You don't believe her as a spy. Because the way she acts in these scenes amongst the other, like, you got the solid, you got Peter Graves, you got Greg Morris, you got Peter Lupus, all these, you got these solid, you got these solid characters that you believe are spies, but you just don't believe that Leslie Ann Warren is a spy just because of just how poor